Did Monet set Lorenzo up to go to jail? What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Bain coming to you with the new Power Book 2 Ghost video. In this video, we are breaking down Monet and Lorenzo, their relationship, and his prison stint, and if she was actually the reason why he was in prison. Y'all, after watching episode 6 and seeing Monet's consistent disgust for Lorenzo and his return and how he is trying to take everything back to 10 years ago and how things used to work where she had no power, she was only raising the kids, basically had to do everything that Lorenzo said, it became kind of clear to me that Monet probably had something to do with Lorenzo going away. Now, y'all, honestly, it gives the vibes of what Ghost and Tasha did to Kanan. At the time when Kanan was sent away, Ghost wanted to take the organization in a different direction. Tasha didn't actually trust Kanan. They did not include Tommy onto their plan, but they came up with a plan to figure out how to eliminate Kanan without actually killing him so that they could be able to take the organization in a different direction, have some time to do so, and then when Kanan got out of jail, he would return and hopefully just fall back into the new operation as it was. Now, I think that this could totally be a thing that Monet was hoping for as well. However, Lorenzo actually went to jail for life, or he was at least supposed to go to jail for life. So Monet never actually planned for him to actually get out. Diana reaching out to Davis McClain, stealing the $1 million from Monet to be able to pay Davis McClain to even look at the case, was the monkey wrench in the original plan. And honestly, that is another, to me, piece of evidence of like maybe Monet had something to do with Lorenzo going to jail, because if it was just as easy as getting another lawyer to take a look at the case and putting up some money, then why didn't Monet do that out of the whole 10 years that he had been away? It's almost like she fell into this pattern of going to go see him, having their conjugal visits, having their little meetings, giving him the feel as though he was still running the organization from inside the jail, but she was really the one out there handling it. She had her own autonomy. She was fully independent. She was making all the decisions not only for herself, but also for her family. And it seemed like to be a thing that was working for her. Honestly, it felt like a thing that was working for her up until things started to change, when she started to lose a little bit of control with Kane, having an issue with Tariq, and then also when a better option presented itself in Dante. All of this just got me to thinking, like, if Sis really wanted her man back, then Sis would have actually been going hard to bring her man back. Would y'all agree? Let me know in the comment section down below. Before I even go further into the details and what I feel like is available as evidence for us to see that Monet had something to do with sending Lorenzo away, let me know in the comment section down below if you feel like Monet had something to do with it. Now, in all honesty, when you're working within a criminal organization, and we have seen this play out in Power, right, y'all? Like, we have seen this. We've seen this again with Ghost and Tasha and how they did Kanan versus how Tariq chose to do Kanan, right? Or Tariq and Tasha chose to do Kanan. At that point, they had decided that Kanan actually had to die because he was never going to change. He was never going to, adjust or shift, and they concocted that plan and carried it out to do so. However, Monet, I do think, loves Lorenzo. I do think that she loved Lorenzo when she married him, but in wanting to make a play for independence and wanting to be in charge of her own life, I could definitely see her making evidence available that should not have been available, not necessarily ratting, but helping position things so that the prosecution could actually make their case. And y'all, let's remember, the prosecution actually was dirty, which is how Lorenzo is out walking around to this day. So I could only imagine what those little dirty pieces are that help put him away and how they actually came across them, because dirty cops means that you're talking to somebody. You're speaking within the organization. You planted something within the organization. You're doing something. And now, again, I don't want to call Monet a rat. However, she could have made some acquiring of certain evidence a little bit easier. Now, another thing that I want to point out is that Lorenzo, we see in episode 6, did not even recognize Zeke. So he has never really even known who Zeke was up until, well, he knew about him. He knew my nephew, my wife's nephew, is staying with her, but he had never officially met him, which tells me that Zeke came to move with Monet within those 10 years that Lorenzo had been gone. And that would be another reason why Monet would have parlayed to get Lorenzo out of commission if she actually wanted to bring her son home. I cannot wait until the story behind Zeke and the whole concocting of the narrative that Zeke is actually her nephew versus her actual son, where that came about, how that came about, because I think that that's going to be so insightful to part of like what happened with Lorenzo. It could definitely be a thing that Monet used Lorenzo going away to be able to be a thing to bring all her kids under the same house. She has been very protective of Zeke, and we couldn't really understand why. Like, the facade made sense, right? Like, he's the golden one, he's the untouched one, he's not affected by drugs, he has this natural skill that's going to make him multi-million dollars anyway, so let's protect him at all costs. But even still, how she moved with him was very interesting. Now, I am going to be working on another video in reference to the timeline of Monet's kids, because I'm really trying to figure out where they fall. The logical thing would be that Zeke is actually the oldest, but then Zeke is also, I believe, a freshman or sophomore at Stansfield, which will make Kane older than him. So I want to do a deep dive and try to figure out where these kids actually fall, because then it will also throw a monkey wrench into how, if Zeke is not the oldest, then how did he actually get born without Lorenzo actually knowing? Was there a breakup at some point? Did Lorenzo do an additional, like, shorter prison stint? Like, what actually happened to be able to make this happen? But ultimately, I do think that Zeke serves as additional evidence that Monet might have had something to do with taking Lorenzo out the game, and not wanting to do so by killing him, but removing him off the board by getting him placed in jail. And ultimately, y'all, in watching Monet and how she moved in episode 6, it really brings a lot of curiosity to mind of like how this girl does not seem happy at all. She does not seem excited for a moment, for a minute, for a second that Lorenzo was home. And that to me is the biggest piece of evidence that she might have had something to do with him actually going away, because she's not actually excited to see him out. She really did believe that he would never be coming home. And it's like, how could you actually fully believe that and not actually have hope if you didn't have nothing to do with it? Does that make sense? Because Diana kept hope, right? But then Diana had nothing to do with what actually happened to him going away. She has no inside knowledge. She has no clue. She only has the idea of like, if there's a will, there's a way. I'm going to bring my dad home. So that to me is the glaring proof. The other two things that I mentioned are like the supporting proof. And now again, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think that Monet had something to do with Lorenzo getting sent to jail, and is that why she is unhappy about him being home now? I think that she's making a terrible mistake in choosing Lorenzo because she feels like she owes her family. Girl, all these kids are pretty much grown and you don't owe him anything, especially if you had anything to do with him going away. Like, the best thing that you could do is gather your stuff and decouple immediately to try to protect yourself. I don't think that staying close to him is actually going to protect you, especially after we saw Diana let all the juice loose about how she had a plan to move on without him and to follow Zeke around the country. Like, she's not going to be able to trust her family as much as she thinks that she is, and that's going to be trouble for her moving forward. If you want to talk about episode 6 and all that went down in this foundational character building, story building episode, then click this video right here. If you want to talk previews and predictions for episode 7, click this video right here. It's your good sis Erica Vane. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss any of my PowerBook 2 Ghost videos, and I'm going to see you in the next one.